employer so that we can set up a compatible environment and they can transition from working in the store to working to where they would be permanently placed. And they would have the consistency and the supports already set up before they really ever became an employee of that center. So as I said, a holistic approach, and it's more than just the employment skills. Spectrum provides a really strong emphasis on social and emotional development because, again, it's not just about the skills. We recognize that communication is the foundation for success in the workplace. And the ability to build those human connections is what we consider to be one of the cornerstones of their future success. And we see it as a very common goal for the majority of program participants. So therefore, we are very dedicated to designing a very fun and creative retail atmosphere that would provide social support and emotional development in and along the job training itself. And we do a step-by-step type of learning process. We focus on providing a symbiotic coaching partner so that it's somebody that our student feels comfortable with, somebody who understands their special challenges or needs. We provide them with a flexible time schedule because everybody's different. Some of our participants or students can handle maybe a 2-hour time frame. Some of them could do 4 hours. Some of them could be 6. Some of them can only come once a week. Some of them can come every day. So we take that into account and we customize their timing so that it speaks and it works for them. We also break down communication into manageable blocks. So if it's something that is best done on an index card with a few sentences at a time, that's great. If it's something that needs to be worked with on a communication device, that's great as well. We incorporate in the employment training, time management training as well, so that participants, once they leave the program, understand time clocks and understand arriving on time and understand about breaks and understand about days off and vacations and so on and so forth. And we believe in leaving them with a lot of pride and responsibility so that it's not just a set of skills, but it's a set of skills and tools that they have learned and they've been able to demonstrate efficiency and proficiency. We also work on non-job types of things such as hygiene and dress codes, behaviors and conduct. And we provide consistent repetition and follow-up throughout the entire program. And there's also the option, depending on what those goals are, to either job coach at Spectrum on site exclusively or to partner with a local employer off-site or to do a combination of both. And we also have been accredited by the Florida Department of Education. So we are an accredited vocational rehabilitation center. It gives us the opportunity to pay students with disabilities for participating in on-the-job training. They go through the Department of Education website, they register, they are then allocated to Spectrum Thrift Store, and through their training program, they are an official employee, earning a paycheck and seeing their hard work translate to dollars. I found that's a really high motivator. I don't know if you all remember, but I remember my very first paycheck as a teenager and how uplifting and liberating it was. And we want to be able to give each of our participants that type of feeling so they know what to look forward to. We also work with the on-the-job coaches to certify employable skills, developing one skill at a time. We found that works best. It's not overwhelming. I think it gives us the highest result. And we're able to translate that skill then through a variety of settings and employment opportunities. Oh, sorry about that. And you can see one of our training. We see here one of our students on the job training. And this is a really great story in that they came in wearing noise canceling headphones and were very reclusive. And about halfway through the point, they started interacting and actually being proactive in a task and skills. And in this case, they're helping build a shelf. And you notice no noise canceling headphones. So we feel really excited when we can see such progress unfold on a day-to-day basis, kind of right in front of our eyes. There's another situation where we have somebody with headphones, hopefully that they'll get to the point where they will interact, but they are focusing here on building a display. So when we do on-the-job training skills, we give them practical applications. So one, they can see the result immediately. Two, we can gauge their interaction, and we can measure different segments that are on their job coaching plan. So in addition to doing something like this, we train in cashiering, inventory sorting, and stocking. Oh my gosh, we're in a busy place today. We also focus on customer service and working the floor. Customer service could be anything from standing at the door and being a greeter, to walking a customer to a specific item that they're looking for, or walking around and kind of tidying up and just asking customers if they're finding what they're looking for. On a more professional level, we have designed internships for individuals who have experience and expertise in developing bookkeeping and accounting skills, in management, and also videography and commercials. Here, I'm just going to leave you with the link because I don't think I can play it from here. But here's one of our students, started out early high school, and he is now the Spectrum Thrift Store official videographer. You can get a little sample of his work at your leisure. But he's developed amazing skills in animation and videography, and we're really proud of him and excited to see where he goes off to now that he's ready to be college bound. We also focus heavily on self-advocacy. Spectrum Thrift Store is committed in developing confidence and self-advocacy with each individual. We think it's really important that they're able to speak up. It's very important to be comfortable in a public setting. So we will design exercises for them where they're coached in approaching customers, where they're assigned to be the store greeter for a segment of time. And probably what I would consider the toughest one is working the donation station. As a donation station attendant, they are the first interface with the public. And the donation station is really busy and fast paced through most of the day, every day. So here they kind of need to have their wits about them. They need to be able to take in donations. They need to be able to assess the item being donated and decide whether or not it's something that needs to go to cleaning, whether it's something that needs to go to the sales floor immediately, or whether it's something that needs to be verified and tested, like, for example, electronics equipment. And then we do realize that it very much does take a community, and a lot of Spectrum Thrift Store's time, which is actually what Mark is doing right now, is in building a community of support. We have program participants that have been placed in part-time and full-time positions in local restaurants, grocery stores, hardware stores, offices, and even corporate management trainee programs, because there really is no limit. And we work on creating a campaign of awareness through social media, local fundraisers, and by sponsoring community events. This one here in the picture happens to be the Field of Dreams. We also believe in recognition throughout the program. We have a motto here. We say we celebrate much and we celebrate often. We celebrate each new milestone, each new skill, and each emerging level of confidence. In this case, we have an individual here who happens to be pictured that had received a new communication device, and it was kind of on his thighs. So through that, he would be able to interact and communicate with customers as they came in through the door. He's since graduated and moved on to be a store operator at one of our local affiliates. I talked about at the beginning about receiving that first paycheck. And here's an example of one of our participants got his very first paycheck working here. and was very thrilled. And you can just see the excitement in his face. He's since moved on from the program and has a part-time job at one of the local gas stations, or I think around the corner. Our goal as an organization is to direct hire as many individuals with disabilities as possible at Spectrum. Between the two locations, we've been able to direct hire 15 people at this point in various part-time positions, depending on what their capabilities are and what they can handle. We also have a goal of continuing to expand into new locations, reaching further out in the surrounding communities. Right now, we have a wait list for our program, and we're working on minimizing that wait list one at a time. We're also very committed to continuing to create employment options with local employers. We have program participants that have gone to work at Publix, Ace Hardware, the local libraries, gas stations, retail centers, and so forth. And we continually look for ways to expand those avenues and open more doors for them. We're also working on creating a very successful business model where our organization is entirely run by individuals with disabilities. We think by maximizing each individual's potential that we are well on our way to getting there, and we look forward to the day when all of our employees are going to be those with disabilities. And I think, are we on time? Sorry about that. So that concludes my portion of the presentation. And hopefully Mark will be here in a second.
Biljana, I could try to show the video that you had linked. Would that be good? It's short, right? It's just like 21 seconds.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I think everybody would love it. I love it. I love watching those videos. Every Tuesday he comes in and he does a video update.
Okay, let me see if I can do that. We'll just give it a shot while we're giving Mark just another minute or two.
Actually, Mark just walked in, so whenever you're ready for us.
Oh, awesome. Okay, we'll go straight to Mark.
Okay.
And you're still sharing screen, so.
Let me get out of there. Okay, am I back?
You're here.
All righty, right here. And this is Mark Tillman, the founder, president, and CEO of Spectrum Thrift Store.
Hey, how is everybody?
Hi, Mark. We're well. Thank you for being here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
We're losing some sound.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can. Yes.
Okay. So just to catch you up, Mark, Biljana has gone through the PowerPoint, but we were interested in hearing from you about any highlights of your program that you'd want to talk about personally.
She says that Biljana probably did a great job with everything that she had on here. Most of the stuff that I just really am proud of is the fact that we continue to get all these amazing young individuals through here and train and teach them in all different aspects of the business. I like the fact that I have one kid that, and I call them all kids because, you know, they're, to me, they're 22 years and under. So, but, you know, one that, you know, for an hour he can hang clothes, and he's slowly but surely starting to learn how to do something besides hang clothes. It's like he can now sweep, you know, he can now start to do little stuff at the register. And then I have another one that me and him just started a business, an LLC together, and we're going to start up a business bank account so he can learn how to start his own LLC. So it's just amazing where each one is on the spectrum, and it's just so unique to be able to have one after the next. You just don't know where you're going to fit them.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. What challenges do you guys find? And maybe all of the participants, if you guys have questions, you can either unmute your mic and ask it or put it in the chat box. But I'm wondering, what do you think is like the biggest challenge that you all face in your work?
My biggest challenge with Voc Rehab is the time spent starting different OJTs or on the job trainings. So they tend to lose focus when they finish an on-the-job training here. So say they just learned, and I do all my on-the-job trainings are at least 12 weeks. You know, I don't think that they can learn a whole lot in 4 weeks or 8 weeks, and especially if they're only going to be coming 1 hour a week. It's indicative that I get them as many hours as I can to learn a certain skill. But when they get done with that skill, you got to send in the final report, then you got to send in another approval to hire, then you got to send in another application, and it takes almost a month and a half to 2 months to get them back in focus and back working again. And a lot of these kids lose focus after if they don't do something regularly all the time. So what I've started to do now is just kind of like bring them in and just kind of hire them on my own while we're waiting on the paperwork to go through. I think it works a lot easier that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just like keeping the momentum going.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, do any of you all, the participants, do you guys have questions on here? Well, Billiana or Mark, do you guys have? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was trying to get my mute button.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Tracy Bravo. I'm a work study teacher in Marion County. I was just wondering if I was not quite sure, the students that you first come in, I understand that they may down the road have a job with you, a paying job after their training. But the students that you first get, are they in the 22 and younger age group that are deferred students that are in transition, or are these any special needs adults out in the community?
Well, the way the program works is if they come through Voc Rehab, they actually volunteer, but we pay them, right? So, and then we get reimbursed by Voc Rehab. So I have one right now that's at a yoga studio. So she is volunteering at the yoga studio. We're paying her $9 an hour, and then we get reimbursed by Voc Rehab. And those are usually the ones that are between 14 and 22, and they're in school. Once they get out of school and they're more considered adults and they're 23, 24, it takes a lot longer for them to go through the process of Voc Rehab because they just don't have an IEP right off the bat through the school. So they have to go through Voc Rehab psychiatrist, Voc Rehab, and it takes a lot longer, sometimes up to 5 months to get approved. So a lot of them, what they do is they'll come in and they'll volunteer with me. And then if I have an ability to be able to hire them into a certain slot, I will. And if I'm able to find them a job somewhere else, I will. Because you don't want to give up to them just because if you tell them it's going to take 5 months to get paid. It's a lot of them are just kind of like, oh, well, what do I do? So that's another challenge is if they just had an IEP when they were 21 years old, I don't know why they have to start all over again and go through the state psychiatrist, go through the state things to get approved.
I lost you.
For some reason, we lost your audio, Mark.
Worry that if you start paying them money that they're going to lose their disability check, and they're allowed to make up to so much every month and still get their full disability check. It's just a lot of people are just really hesitant and rather have them volunteer to do something with their time than to worry about losing their disability check.
Right. I agree with that. And I know there's a session on that, I think, happening right now. But the other question I have is, how long does Voc Rehab, is there a limit to how long they will support them, like reimbursing you? Is there a time limit?
They'll do, you can have up to 120 hours at any one place. any one OJT. Basically, they can do up to 3 OJTs at Spectrum Thrift Store. So I can usually have them.
But it has had some negative.
Okay, I can do up to 3 OJTs here.
Okay,
And then what I do after that is I find them places in the community to do OJTs. So they can do as many as they want.
okay. And you mean each one, they get 120 hours or total?
That's total if they do total. Like I have some kids, yeah, like I have one that'll probably hit the 120 hours, but he can do 120 hours as the one I was telling you. He's starting a business. I'm teaching him how to do QuickBooks and all those kinds of things. And then he can move on and do something else for 120 hours and you can get reimbursed.
Okay.
And then after that, I have to take Scott to Ace Hardware or Publix or someplace like that where he can expand his knowledge and his tasks and his opportunities. So when he graduates college, he'll have all this on an application and a resume that looks real well for him.
Thank you. Y'all sound like you're doing a great job over there.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have a question? I'm waiting for you to be able to hit your unmute buttons. Okay, well, Mark or Biliana, do you guys have anything else to add?
No, not at all.
Or does the person in the yellow t-shirt have something to contribute?
That was actually Scott. He's the one who's what I was telling you about. He started as the LLC for us, and he's waiting on the computer so he can change up the. Change up our flyers. He's also doing some marketing for us. So.
Okay, well, tell him to come in and tell us how he likes the program.
Again, thank you for the.
Oh, Scott,
Want to come in?
come here.
Hello.
Hey, just tell them real quick about what you're kind of doing with me as far as starting the LLC and now what were you doing in here before we kicked you out?
Well, as far as the LLC goes, I was just helping with some of the paperwork to set it up, like the basic forms and stuff, and like mailing that to the office. What I was doing before I got kicked out was just taking like a pamphlet with like some cutout coupons and like making it so I had more cutout coupons and like changing the general design.
He's like redesigning this flyer for us in Word.
I don't know if I call it a redesign, more like a remake. I'm trying to keep like the same aesthetic.
Yeah, okay. All right. Great.
Very
Thanks,
That's
Scott.
it, though.
Very cool. Did someone else try to jump in before I started talking again?
That's one thing that I thought that it was very important is that I open up all my accounts to these kids that learn bookkeeping. So they have actual access to see the bank account and where the money goes and how to place this money. That this is expense and this is payroll and this is. So it's important to get that kind of knowledge in a setting like this. I don't know if a whole lot of people offer that because I actually do my deposits. They actually will count my register out and then come in and make the deposit for me. So, I think was very important to be able to put that on a resume as well.
That's very cool. I just wanted to share a couple of comments from the chat box. There's a vocational rehabilitation counselor online, and she says it helps to hear from the other side of things and the challenges. So that's good. Someone else, Todd, responded that he just wanted to say that it sounds like you're doing an amazing job and thank you for your amazing work. And Barb Williams is reminding us all to not forget about our feedback sheets. That's a really good reminder. That's in your Visions app. You can go in and give feedback on this session. So anyway, well, I'll just say thank you so much to Mark and Biliana, and thanks to all of you who've come, and I hope you have a great rest of your time. Oh, Megan, go ahead.
Yes, so sorry. Thank you so much. I had to step away. I am still at my normal job. But thank you so much. We appreciate you, and what an awesome program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.